I'm gonna love you.
Hey, welcome back to Dan's Chess Lounge, everybody. Today we're going to continue talking about these mating patterns, and today is a mating pattern that is very common to the chess community, the chess world. At some point, you've probably heard about the Greek gift sacrifice, or some people call it the bishop sacrifice. Some people call it the Trojan horse sacrifice. And it's based upon the Greek mythological story about the Trojan horse in the Trojan War, the tale of the Trojan War, where the Greeks entered the city of Troy, and they came inside of a Trojan horse that was supposed to be like a trophy or a statue, and then in the middle of the night, all of the Greek army guys was inside the horse. They snuck out, entered the city of Troy, and they won and ended the war that night. So it goes back to kind of like that theme. There was a priest that was supposed to say, beware of Greeks bearing gifts, or I fear Greeks even when they are bringing gifts. So this sacrifice, it plays into that line there. So let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what the Greek gift sacrifice is all about. I have to say that it's one of my favorite sacrifices. I play the French defense, so a lot of times that can be an option for my opponent to play if I make a mistake. So let's go ahead and check it out. In this game, we have e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, the classical French variation, knight f6, the Steinitz variation. The pawn pushes to e5, which is a critical point. Now, this isn't the sacrifice or the mating net right here. This is just how you can kind of get into it, going into a French defense. Knight fd7, knight f3, bishop b4, bishop d3, and castle. Now, right here, I want to go ahead and stop and talk about it because at this point right here, we have all of the parameters set up for the bishop sacrifice. And what it is, you have the bishop, the light square bishop pointing to the h7 square. That's weak there. And then you also have no protection of that h7 square with the knight, because the pawn on e5 is critical, because that prevents a knight from holding down that weak h7 square. So what white can go ahead and play here, he can go ahead and play bishop takes h7, check, king takes, and then the knight follows it up with knight g5, check. If the king goes to h8, then it's going to be lights out pretty soon here. Queen h5, king g8, and then queen h7, checkmate. So that's just if black doesn't put up any fight at all. But there are a few other moves that black can play here. Black can go to g8. Queen still comes to h5. And then black can sack his queen. Bishop takes queen. And it's going to be a lost position here for black. But if black wants to fight on, he has that option. He could sack his queen. What else could black do here? Black could also play king g8. Queen comes to h5. And then instead of sacking his queen, he can play rook e8. And then this is just going to prolong it. First you take on f7. Pushes the king over to h8. Queen comes back. Queen h7 check. King goes to f8. queen check. And now here is the final checkmate. Queen takes g7, checkmate. So really, the rook e8 move just prolongs it a few moves later. So, and then there's one other thing that you can do as well. After knight g5 check, the king can go to h6, but then that just loses the queen to the discovery. Knight f7 check, and then white takes the queen. So it's black's not getting mated, but he's down major material as well. And then finally, probably the most this is the option to go if you ever do find yourself in this predicament here and you're black. Play king g6 because it's not quite as obvious, that the mate isn't quite as obvious, and white can maybe go wrong and blow a tempo and then give you a chance to get back in it. But king g6 is probably the only hope that you have. But if white finds the right moves, which is h4, believe it or not, is the best move in this position here. And then king goes to f5, and then queen d3 check, followed by queen f3 checkmate. But if white doesn't play h4 there, if he doesn't know that, the person you're playing doesn't know h4 is the move there, then you may have a chance to survive. But that was the Greek gift sacrifice. Hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.